What is up, LA? It is a Thursday morning, 6 a.m. right now, and you are listening to D-Fish and Decker on the new 97.1 The Fan, the voice of LA sports, and of course, the legendary, the one, the only, Derek Fisher, and myself, Cody Decker, and of course, you got us for the next 4 hours of your LA drive time commute, and of course, we want to hear from you all show long. Get in the chat over there. We got Raj in the back. We got Aaron in the back. We got Mitch in the back, and of course, check us out right now live on YouTube. Get in the chat. We got a lot to discuss today, and only 4 hours to do it. Later on the show, we got Russ Dorsey to talk all things trade deadline. Of course, we got our girl Lindsay joining us. We're going to finally talk about what's been going on at Rams camp and all the great videos she's been getting over there and find out just exactly how the QB situation is going with Ty Simpson as the backup, or is it Stetson Bennett, thank you. I kept wanting to say Stetson Betson. I was this close, and I had legitimately almost said Stetson Jetson.
It's okay.
But Stetson Bennett, and of course, we'll get you all updated on that. Luka Doncic trying to take on the leadership role. We'll get to that in a little bit. And of course, trade deadline. Lots to discuss there with the Dodgers specifically, because lots to discuss around Shohei Ohtani and his bicep injury. Might be a lot more serious than we're being led on. However, another good game from Shohei Ohtani yesterday, 2 for 3, RBI double, late in the game especially, and not to mention on top of that, D-Fish, Dalton Rushing scoring from first base. That a baby. That's what you need out of your 9-hitter, especially when he's catching. And that being said, Will Smith currently getting ready to resume baseball activities. Lots to discuss, but let's get into the Dodger game last night real quick, D-Fish, because Dodgers get another win because that's what the Dodgers do. Best record in Major League Baseball, as always, and let's be real clear here. Eric Lauer with another really gem of a performance. This guy, what he has done since he's joined this team in early May, coming off the Blue Jays, he had like a 6 ERA, just definitely was not pitching great. But to be fair, everybody in Toronto is having a rough go. I don't know if you heard about this. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who has been like this, perennial MVP candidate. He's on a $500 million deal. He's got 23 more home games in Toronto this season. He might go an entire season without hitting a home run at home. For a power hitter as well-known and well-respected as Vladdy Jr., everything in Toronto is going wrong. So whatever the vibes are in Toronto, Eric Lauer was in the midst of it, and he got out of that vibes and came down to L.A., and he has been phenomenal. They have won 9 games in a row, all of which Eric Lauer has pitched. His ERA has dropped quite significantly since being here. He has looked incredible, and Katie Wu yesterday was on the afternoon show discussing the idea of Eric Lauer, and I got to say, she makes a really good point. Eric Lauer's put himself in a position that he might get moved. Now, Eric Lauer did get asked this question last night. Eric Lauer did talk about it. Are you aware that you're being thrown around for potential trade discussions? He's like, yes, my wife hates it. My wife hates it. I am aware my wife hates it. And I thought that was pretty good, considering the fact he's already been traded one time this year. But you got to understand with Eric Lauer, the type of guy he is, and this is not a fair thing or a good thing, but he was like a guy they brought in as a stopgap. A couple of injuries that took place, D-Fish. And he's done an unbelievable job, So because of this, Eric Lauer's put himself in a position that is, you tell me, is it better or is it like a lateral move? Because here's the thing, the Dodgers brought him in probably with the full intent. Now, they didn't announce this, but probably with the full intent, you're going to be here until Snell and Glasnow are back, and then we're going to put you on waivers, and someone will pick up your contract, and you go play over there and work out a little deal. That's not what this position Eric Lauer's in anymore. Eric Lauer's put himself in a position that he can get traded, and the Dodgers can get something back for it. Maybe another arm, maybe a backup catcher, which we've discussed ad nauseum they really need right now. Eric Lauer likely will not be in the playoffs for the Dodgers, but I can also make the argument Dodgers might want to hold on to Eric Lauer. He eats a lot of innings, and the way the pitching staff's been getting hurt, Eric Lauer has been stepping up in an unbelievable way. He's put himself in a fantastic position for the future of his career.
Well, that's what you try to tell, as a high school coach, you're talking to young student athletes all the time about this concept, right? And my older brother used to tell me this as a professional, and the idea was to always put it back on the team or the organization to have to make that hard decision about you, because you're so locked in. You're doing so many of the right things. Your performance is so consistent. You show up on time. You do everything humanly possible to take away all the excuses the team could have about why you aren't getting the job done. And then the team then has the hard decision to make, which the Dodgers possibly will have to make about Eric Lauer. Like, to your point, they probably were transparent with him about, hey, this may not be a long-term stop for you because we got a lot going on. But
I mean, you can read the tea leaves, you see what the Dodgers are, but I have to assume the way the Dodgers front office works, they probably were very honest with him coming in.
Yeah, and you know, even if they weren't, like, it's pro sports. You know, part of the conversation we had yesterday about the mercenary idea, right? Like, most athletes are in that situation. Mm-hmm. Like, Eric Lauer was brought in to do a job, and he's doing his job at a really consistent level. And so then that increases the value that he has either for the team as he remains here, or, you know, he may have now put himself in a position where, like, this could launch the rest of his career, even if it's not with the Dodgers. Mm-hmm. And that's how you maximize and take advantage of being on the larger platform that is the Los Angeles Dodgers. Is you get brought in due to injuries, setbacks, whatever the reasons are, and you go out and you perform well. You help the team win games. You reset or reestablish a new narrative, a new way that people see you. You eliminate whatever people thought the old ERA was, even if it was a small sample size. Mm-hmm. And now they have some new information about how good you are. And you know, so that's part of the gift of being on the platform that comes with playing for the Dodgers and playing in LA. There's also a heavy weight and a heavy burden that comes with that if you don't perform well, which, you know, we've talked about, you know, certain guys. And okay, Kyle Tucker off to a slow start. Is, you know, as soon as somebody has a bad month, we're questioning whether they're washed or not. But I think Eric Lauer's just done a really good job, and the team has supported him very well. Very well. Where they've been able to win games anytime he's been on the mound.
Being real clear here, so far since he's joined the Los Angeles Dodgers, they are 9-0 in the games that he has started. He is 5-0 as a starter for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Since being a Dodger, he's got a 2.96 ERA. He has been phenomenal. 51.2 innings, getting everything done, 30 strikeouts, 13 walks. There's nothing more you could ask from a guy, especially a guy in the role that he's been put in. But, like, what are your thoughts on the idea that his wife hates it? Because when you're that guy and you're the guy that's always living out of a suitcase, packing around, I lived that life. That life ain't fun. And if you are married, that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, he hates it as well. But, you know, he knows it's part of the job. And his wife knows it's part of the job, too. But it's still not fun. Even those things are louder and more impactful when you play for the Los Angeles Dodgers. You know, if you play on a smaller market team, unless you're going specifically to the team page, you may not even hear about, you know, your husband or your partner being in trade rumors. But when you play for the Dodgers, it's national news. It's everywhere. There's no way to get away from it. And so, you know, it comes with the territory, unfortunately. And, you know, we'll see. He's done the things that he's, you know, supposed to do in order to, like, have whatever takes place. Like, he has now done such a good job performing well that, again, like, the next time he's a free agent, like, this stretch of performance for him is worth a lot of money. So as much as his wife may hate it, this also could be changing their financial future and their financial security for a long time.
No, he's honestly put himself in a position, no matter what, that he might sign himself a good deal this next year. And, like, yeah, is it going to be $100 million deal? No, but it's going to be a good deal. He's going to be fine. He's going to be just fine. By the way, the reason why this is also a good thing for the Dodgers in another way is because, listen, they probably don't need to grab another arm right now because the other arm that they're looking at because of the Shohei Ohtani of it all, and don't worry, we'll get into it as the show goes forward. Obviously, they're looking at Tarik Skubal. Tarik Skubal likely pitched his final outing yesterday as a Detroit Tiger. Got his 1,000th strikeout his career. Pretty sweet there. But right now, I'm looking at this Dodger team thinking what they really need is a backup catcher. We've said that from Jump Street. I've mentioned a name as unknown as Ben Reiter, who is their former backup catcher. He's stuck in AAA right now with the Mets. But the other names that are involved that are kind of out there dangling as far as catchers go that I think easily you could just do a 1-1 swap with. I mean, Jonah Heim is kind of bored over there in the Oakland A's. Go ahead and grab him as a defense first backup catcher. If the Cleveland Guardians would be willing to move Austin Hedges. Austin Hedges, by the way, just so we're all clear, is entirely allergic to wood. Cannot hit. Do not care. He is an unbelievable glove man behind the plate. If say you can get your hands on Austin Hedges, get your hands on Austin Hedges. He would handle this bullpen and this pitching staff unbelievably well. So yeah, there's lots of places they can go, lots of things they can do, but the Dodgers only have a couple of needs. Right now, their needs are very simple. They need a backup catcher, and they need another potential starting arm. And man, has that changed a lot in the last day and a half, because Shohei Ohtani is looking like he may not actually pitch another game this year. And if that is the case, another starter is not a bad idea. And I've thrown out a bunch of names, but yesterday I finally came full circle. I finally turned a page. I turned a full-on left corner because I've been saying from Jump Street, Dodgers don't need Tarik Skubal. They don't need Tarik Skubal. Now, I don't think it's about need. I think they just want Tarik Skubal. And that alone is enough for the Dodgers to make a move. And frankly, no Ohtani, and I have no idea about Glass now. Why not? Let's do it. Go get him.
I mean, the window doesn't stay open forever, even for the Dodgers, right? And
especially with the unknown in Major League Baseball next year with the CBA and all.
Yeah, and the fact that the Milwaukee Brewers are one game out of the best record in baseball. It's not like I think the Braves are 4 games back, 5 games back. So at sitting at the top of the standings, yes, but it's kind of like OKC having the best record, but the Spurs were 2 games back of the best record in basketball. And we saw what happened in the conference finals. The Spurs actually won, even though the Thunder were the 1 seed. So in these situations when you're in a championship window, you don't sit there and kind of halfway go for it. If you believe there's enough in your building to get it done, sure, you don't necessarily need to make a high-impact, high-power move. But if you know you have a championship team, but a couple guys possibly being banged up or out could cost you everything, you've invested too much, you spent too much time, you built too much excellence into the program, you can't sit back. And I'm not saying it has to be Skubal, but it may need to really be a strong, powerful decision around adding more pitching so that you're not struggling in the postseason with no Ohtani, no Glass now.
At the end of the day, it's all about October. Who are we kidding? Anything we talk about with the Dodgers is manufactured controversy. They're the best damn record in Major League Baseball. They don't need anything. They really don't. Those of you that say, we need Skubal. No, you don't. Now, could you get Skubal? Yes. Would it make you the Monstars from Space Jam? Probably. And would that piss off everybody in baseball? Yes. Hell, that alone is enough reason for me to go get Skubal. I love seeing everybody in baseball get all butt hurt because their team won't make any moves. I don't know if you had a chance to see yesterday what Phillies manager Don Mattingly said, but dude, you want a guy that's playing the ownership billionaires line really hard? Don Mattingly saying things about kind of going after his own players who are outwardly saying, yeah, I think we can need some help during the trade deadline. And then Don Mattingly going well, it's not his money. Not his money. You're the manager of the team, and your thing is to go after your superstar by suggesting they need help in the trade deadline? Dude, The Dodgers should go get Tarek Skubal just so the Philly fans can hold their manager a little more accountable. You don't want Tarek Skubal? Fine, the Dodgers will get him.
Yeah, I get the it's not your money part. I don't think should have anything to do with it as a manager or like as the coach. Like that wouldn't be the response. But I do understand if Don Mattingly felt like, especially for him and the level that he played at, there are very few times, even on teams that weren't championship teams, that like you can allow your mind to go to that place where it's like, we're not good enough. You know, we actually need some help. In particular, like the Phillies,
they're not good enough. They need help.
Yeah, but as a leader, it depends on how long that's been happening, right? Like I'm envisioning, you know, the great players that I played with. It would take, you know, several months or you know, a couple seasons for a guy to like speak out and say, you know, I hope we are active at the trade deadline. We really, because you're also telling the guys in the clubhouse that, yeah, you're not good enough, bro. and that's not. I could see how Don Mattingly would cringe a little at that aspect of it, which has nothing to do with money.
By the way, trades have almost nothing to do with money.
That's just more mindset than anything. I think had his response been a little more maybe focused on the mindset part, then, you know, you're not going back at Bryce Harper around the idea of money. You're just going back at anybody in the clubhouse, just kind of implying that we're not good enough to win baseball games when I'm the manager. I'm watching video. We're just not executing well enough. We're good enough. You guys just have to play better. That's kind of, but when you bring money into it, then you take away from just having that conversation.
Yeah, but you're not having that conversation.
No,
you're mentioning money all of a sudden.
Yeah,
and also there's an extra wrinkle to the Don Mattingly comments that we'll get into later that I think will add even more light to it. You'll be like, oh, okay.
Got it.
Because there's an extra wrinkle to Don Mattingly of it all. And yes, we will get into that whole concept. But yeah, listen, as far as the Phillies go, they ain't, as far as I'm concerned, they ain't good enough. They're not better than the Dodgers. Right now, if they go toe-to-toe with the Dodgers, right now in a 5-game series, the Dodgers will win. If they go into a 7-game series, the Dodgers will win in 5. Yes, the Dodgers have already shown they can get the Wheeler. Now, Sanchez, I don't know if the Dodgers will get to Sanchez, especially with Ohtani's numbers career-wise against Sanchez. Sanchez owns a sizable portion of Ohtani's ass. So that might be a win for the Phillies. But the rest of them, Nola, no problem for the Dodgers. Wheeler has proven to be no problem for the Dodgers. And there's not a whole lot of people that can say that about Zach Wheeler, one of the very best pitchers in baseball for the last decade. But listen, we will let you know what the trade deadline looks like. Right now, the Dodgers looking to be buyers, but also weirdly sellers at the exact same time, which is a unique place for them to be right now. Back in last night's game, of course, we got some great stuff that took place. We got mentioned already Shohei Ohtani with his great double and everything that he did later on in the game. 2 for 3 for Shohei Ohtani. But earlier in the game, Andy Pages gets himself right with a solo bomb early on in the bottom of the first. Here it is.
Bill leaves this one over the plate for Pages. Hooked in the air, deep left field, and gone. It's another home run. Andy Pages with his first one of the second half.
There you go, right there. Andy Pages from Sportsnet LA during the game. And honestly, after the game, there was other things that need to be discussed because congratulations, Edwin Diaz actually showed up. I love it. Amazing. A little bit of Tommy Trumpet running him into the field. Goes ahead and gets his first save in what feels like since Nam. But really, it's only been for about 2 months since we've last seen him for the Dodgers. He's only had 2 appearances anyways, but looked pretty decent. Gave up a run. Velocity was okay. What do you got, Raj?
Yeah, so under the hood, as we do this, are you okay? Like a mixed bag, though, would you say? Let me just break it down to you. Under the hood, Fish is not just what you see with the ERA and WHIP, but the velocity was up 1.5 miles, right? We like that, Cody?
Yeah.
Okay. He was some hard hit balls though for me. Like he didn't miss a bat. He didn't miss any bats, and it's just working out the rust, or just because he did give up a run. That doesn't bother me as much. But no Ks for him, despite the velocity being up.
It's July 30th, and this is literally his third inning of the season. Right now, he is fresh out of spring training, and he has no idea what he's doing at the moment. And also, what is your question?
No, he's pitched earlier this year before going down.
He pitched 2 innings. He's barely played this year. He's had like 4 appearances all season long. He's been gone almost the entire season. He got hurt almost right out the gate. I think the new Tommy Trumpet, I don't know the female trumpet player's name is, but she only got to play him out a couple of times. We lost Edwin Diaz almost as quickly as we got him. So he's barely pitched this year. Now, the hard contacts, yeah, it's early in the season, but is it concerning? On July 30th, I'm not going to be too worried. That being said, the Dodgers already shown that they can win via committee when it comes to their bullpen. We know Tanner Scott can close games. When Blake Trinan's healthy, he can close games, but they did pay Edwin Diaz an outrageous amount of money to close games. So I want Edwin Diaz out there closing games. Do I want to see swing and miss stuff? Absolutely. But the hard contacts were hard contacts. And by the way, Edwin Diaz has gone up and down roller coaster ride his entire career. Look at his Mets career specifically. He's had years where he is the most electric closer in the game and years where they wanted to kill Edwin Diaz in Queens. Trust me, I was there. For 2 years, he was the bane of their existence until he was their hero, D-Fish.
Yeah, he's pitched in between 6 and 7 innings.
Yeah, only a couple of appearances.
Season.
So we're talking 2 weeks
games.
that he's been kind of on the roster this year.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the point, Raj. Like it's, I mean, even coming in without having played a ton, there's a school of thought that like you should almost be harder to hit. Just because people haven't seen you and you're fresh and, that power should be there. But
I mean, the fact that he had an elbow surgery and his velocity's up a little bit, I think is incredibly encouraging. I think right now this was just about getting his ass out there to see what he can do. I mean, we don't know what this is. The surgery he even got is a borderline experimental surgery. Only that I'm aware of, only 3 guys have gotten it. Blake Snell, who's currently on his rehab assignment, who had a very good rehab outing the other day, and Tarek Skubal, who's about to be traded possibly over to the Dodgers. And by the way, it'd be funny, three guys that got that micro needling thing, all of them being on the Dodgers at the same time, kind of fascinating to me. Just food for thought.
Very.
Yeah. But Dave Roberts had some thoughts about it after the game. Let's hear what Dave Roberts had to say about Edwin Diaz's first appearance since coming off the IL.
It was great. I know Eddie was excited. It was good hearing the trumpets, and the velocity, the stuff was really good. Obviously, he gave up a run, but again, just kind of, getting our bullpen back to being whole, closer to being whole, was great. And just, again, getting him back on the team was exciting.
Pretty much that's it. They got the baby out. He's out there. He's back on the mound. He got the save. Was it perfect? No, but it doesn't need to be perfect, and I don't think anyone should be all that worried about it. Now, if this happens 10 more times or 6 out of the next 7 like save appearances, yeah, you guys can start panicking. But I honestly think if there's a single person in the world that panics about the Los Angeles Dodgers, who have the best record in baseball, they need a lobotomy. There's nothing else I can say. They're the best team in baseball.
Yeah, panic is strong. I think part of what happens when you've been winning at the clip that the Dodgers have been, everything, all struggles look like a step down, from this really high and lofty place. And I think, fans that go on the ride of championship teams, they're looking at it through the lens of like, okay, well, man, last year, this didn't happen. Last year, we had more runs scored at this point, or last year our pitching was better, or last season and it's usually looked at through the rearview mirror. Mm-hmm. And you have to just, try to be patient and understand that this year's team is going to have to get this done in a very different way, and you can't panic.
Absolutely cannot panic. Lots to discuss, and of course the trade deadline is looming August 3rd. It is Monday. We will keep you updated, of course, on everything. And on hour 2, on the 7 o'clock hour, we got Russ Dorsey joining the show live to discuss all things trade deadline, see what the Dodgers can do, and where does he think Tarek Skubal is going? Where do you guys think Tarek Skubal is going? Do you think the Dodgers need anything more? Give us a call, 888 855-97-LA fan. Give us a call as quickly as you can. Of course, we're going to be talking about this all show long, but coming up, the Chargers and Harbaugh get some really great news on two very key starters. Key starters that may have been the biggest issue with their January last year. We will discuss that and so much more here on D. Fish and Decker on the new 97.1 The Fan, the voice of LA sports. Welcome back. D. Fish and Decker on the new 97.1 The Fan, the voice of LA sports. And, of course, Derek Fisher, Cody Decker, and all of you. Of course, you can join us live in the chat as we speak at The Fan LA. Join the conversation. And, of course, we are live all the way to the 10 o'clock hour, leading you right into Brock and Alex. And so much to discuss today. We opened up talking about last night's Dodgers game and, of course, the trade deadline that is looming. Dodgers got a lot of potential options, an outrageous amount of prospects in their farm system, and also the carrot of Eric Lauer being potentially dangled out there because, frankly, Eric Lauer's put himself in quite the position to be actually dangled out there. So we will see what happens. We'll keep you updated on all things Dodgers going forward. But right now, got to switch it over to another team here in LA, and that would be the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, I often make fun of the Chargers because of their fan base, and I make fun of the Chargers because I'm a Raider fan. I love making fun of the Chargers, and I grew up hating the Chargers. That being said, D. Fish, the Chargers are primed to have probably another very, very good year. The Raiders actually have their second matchup this season against the Chargers, and I've already penciled that in as a loss because the Chargers look very good and they look healthy. That's the most important thing. The biggest reasoning for that is a couple of names that are returning to this team after last year, and frankly, last year, Justin Herbert, who gets a lot of flack for his playoff prowess. And by the way, very deservedly so, in my opinion. That last outing that he had was absolutely abysmal. One of the worst games I think he's ever had. And I think Justin Herbert would freely tell you the exact same thing. That being said, there were issues going into that playoff game. No Rashawn Slater, no Joe Alt. Well, good news to you Charger fans. The elite pass protection is there, and it is healthy. And I want to make this abundantly clear. The impact on Justin Herbert is night and day without these guys. Statistical splits on Herbert's QBR hovers like around 80 points with Alt and Slater on the field compared to when he's not there. I mean, he's a different human being when he has Alt and Slater there. So them being there gives him the opportunity to be the best version of himself. So out the gate, we know what this team's going to be during the season. What are they going to be during January is the question of the day, every day, all the time, and twice on Sunday when it comes to the Chargers. Can they get over any semblance of a hump in January, D-Fish?
Well, I mean, that sounds good, but there's football especially, they're just so, it's a sprint. And so the challenge for, I think, the Chargers, this year is going to be the assumption that it's all about what we do in January, which, from a conversation purposes, yes, kind of, but they're not the Dodgers, right? Like with the Dodgers, you've been to the World Series multiple times in the last 6 seasons. You've won 3 titles. You have the best record in baseball. Like, you can almost look ahead in some ways and say, we are planning and preparing for October. That's what it's all about. For the Chargers, though, because you haven't won at that level, the assumption being because you've had 2 consecutive 11-win seasons and, we just haven't executed in January. And so the next time we get to January, this is our time to break through. Well, you may not get to January in the AFC West. That's how challenging the division is to begin with. So you could have a really good season, but the Broncos and the Chiefs could also make your really good season just disappear.
No question. Hell, by the way, the Raiders, who I freely admit they're going to be in the last place in this division, but they've gotten better, on paper at least.
Yeah.
They could still prove to be a challenge to the Chargers as well. Now, I don't think they're going to be a playoff team, but they can still put up a fight. This whole division is going to challenge the Chargers.
Yeah, so I think, I think Coach Harbaugh is the type of leader that the reason why the Chargers have, I think, had 2 consecutive 11-win seasons, since his arrival is because he is a nuts and bolts guy. He's a hard hat, winning habits. We do things the right way. We play good football. We don't turn it over. We tackle well. We do a lot of the things that win football games, and they've done that. They haven't made the timely plays that it takes to advance in the postseason. But I think Jim Harbaugh's ability to manage football teams is what gives them a chance to win 10, 11 games almost every year. And so now, this year, with the higher expectations, his job is going to be like right in alignment with who he is, and that's going to be it's day to day and week to week. He doesn't get too far ahead. That's not who he is, never has been. And so, yeah, I think the Chargers are positioned well to be in that situation again where, you know, it's going to be a big third down stop or in a big third down conversion to first down that dictates how we feel about their season. Like they're going to be in those positions multiple times and have opportunities to become that team that we've seen them have the potential to be. And this is the year it has to happen. I think otherwise people will not, I don't even think question Harbaugh as much. Like the Chargers have been better since he's been here.
Yes, he has.
I think it's going to be more of that question of, you know, like quarterbacks are supposed to get questioned because they're the big money guys. They're the face of the team. It leads to more questions about if Herbert is the guy, you know, based on how the team finishes this year, not necessarily even how they start.
Well, listen, there's a lot of questions to be had when it comes to the Chargers. And, of course, football coverage on the new 97.1 The Fan and the voice of LA Sports is presented by Xfinity. Score the most reliable Wi-Fi, one price, 5 years guaranteed. Xfinity, imagine that. Speaking of questions about Justin Herbert, you know, like this is very interesting to me, and I know it's interesting to you and quite fascinating to me. They just opened up camp, and obviously I already said the questions looming around the team. You know, you got the healthy front line, which is phenomenal for him. You know, obviously he's going to need that elite pass protection, yada, yada, yada. But Justin Herbert is a guy that's hobbled with basically the Dak Prescott type of treatment. And it's, by the way, very deserved. 0-3 in the playoffs, and that is justifiable. Just the way same is with Dak. Everyone tries to yell at Dak for being 2-5 in the playoffs. Great. Justin Herbert's 0-3 in the playoffs. So at least we got a winning percentage of a semblance over there with Dak. We got a 0 right now with Justin Herbert over here with the Chargers. But congratulations to Justin Herbert. He is officially engaged because according to this wonderful post that happened specifically 2 days ago, the announcement happened that him and his Grammy-nominated pop star, singer, and songwriter Madison Beer are engaged. And I just love that Jim Harbaugh on day one of training camp has to answer questions about the engagement. Dude, get engaged. What are you doing getting engaged on day one of training camp? Yeah. Now the story of the Chargers is your engagement? Dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, it made me think about remember we were talking about the 4 guys from the Minnesota Twins, I think that are all getting married
the
on,
same exact day.
And like how can you make it to all 4 of the weddings? And it's a funny story, but it ties into this one as well. It sounds like those 4 guys were like, hey, this is the one date in the off season. Even if we go all the way to the World Series, like we're going to be done by November. We can get married and have time to go on a honeymoon and do all the things. And so that date was chosen. To me, this has to be as much about her calendar, his calendar.
Not the engagement.
Not the engagement.
He could have gotten engaged 3 months ago.
Well, no, because maybe he wasn't feeling it 3 months ago.
Have you seen Madison Beer? He was feeling it 3 months ago. I was feeling it 3 months ago. Knock it off.
Yeah, but I definitely, as a player, a lot of times you try your best at least to not be. Like, you don't want people asking questions about what you have going on personally and when it's time to go to work. But this is also part of that 24/7 news cycle thing that, like, he helped us.
I'm about to say, he did it.
He helped us.
Like, it wasn't like, oh, man, they're reporting you posted it out there, and you did it on day one of camp? Yeah. Listen.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the timing of that. Like, I mean, she's got like 40 million gazillion followers.
Exactly. So right out the gate, that is immediately buzzed out to 40 million followers that have nothing to do with the football sphere. So, like, now add the football fandom in it, Justin Herbert's fans, Charger fans, NFL fans, and day one of training camp is congratulations to Justin Herbert and getting engaged. Now, by the way, I do mean this. Congratulations, Justin Herbert, on getting engaged. That's fantastic.
So the question is, like, had they done this a month ago,
I would not care even a little.
No, you would care.
I
But I'm
mean,
just saying,
like congratulations.
but would it be on ESPN right now? It would have been on ESPN a month ago, but then when training camp opened, it wouldn't have come up.
Not once.
I agree with that.
Thank you. And not once would it come up. But, guys, so much to discuss when it comes to, of course, the future love life of Justin Herbert and everything around the Chargers. But coming up, LeBron James turned down money from a very, very surprising source. And does it mean that he hates L.A.? We'll discuss right here on D. Fish and Decker on the new 97.1 The Fan, the voice of L.A. sports. Welcome back, D. Fish and Decker on the new 97.1 The Fan, the voice of LA sports, and of course Derek Fisher, Cody Decker, and all of you. We got Raj in the back. We got Aaron in the back. We of course got Crash keeping us live right now on YouTube at The Fan LA. Join the conversation and let us know what you think about any of the topics that we are currently talking about. We see Robert Wallace in there. We see Joanna in Arizona, Mitchell Dolphin in there, and of course plenty other of our regulars. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the chat. Of course, get into the conversation over there on YouTube. And remember, you can take us on the go anywhere you go with the Odyssey app. Right now, we are going to talk about that man, LeBron James. Can you believe it? D-Fish, can you believe we're talking about LeBron James? How dare we talk about arguably the most important athlete of the past, 30 years?
30?
It's close. It's pretty close.
20?
20, absolutely.
We're getting there.
Who do you have above him in the last 20 years?
Tiger Woods.
Ooh, no, I got Tiger before the last 20 years. That was more like a late 90s, early 2000s. And then I'd say 2010s on.
Yeah, like 15.
All right,
LeBron.
15.
Yeah.
Well, we'll split hairs.
Before 2010, he can't have that crown.
Okay, but 2010 on, we're giving it to him?
Yeah, you can have that conversation.
16 years is what I'm saying about LeBron James. That being said.
And can't forget about when we did the top 5, how many Sports Illustrated covers LeBron was on.
How many was it? Was it that many?
A lot.
It's probably was a lot.
7 or something.
It's
like
probably a lot.
But it was more than anyone else within that span.
Yeah,
for sure.
take that. See, 15 years, baby. No one more important.
He was on the cover as a high school kid.
That must have been pretty sweet. I would have made my whole prom suit out of those covers, no question about it, and just walked around with just plastered all over my suit. It'd been awesome. That being said, LeBron James made his decision. He is, of course, over there in Philadelphia. I personally loved every aspect of that decision. Why did I love that decision? Because 1, didn't see it coming. 2, the storylines that it opens up right away. It makes the East like just appointment viewing day after day after day, even in the games that LeBron's not even involved with. And what I'm talking about on that is like now all of a sudden I am more inclined to watch a Knicks Celtics game just because of what Philly is doing in the peripheral. Like it's a really, really crazy and, in my opinion, pretty cool thing. That being said, LeBron James did leave the Lakers, and it did leave in relatively good terms. Now, a lot of people try to make a lot out of his exit of LA, specifically from the Lakers, but it's been a little bit more hyped up a bit because of the news that's come out, specifically that the Clippers did discuss a 1-year lucrative $20 million deal for LeBron James, but LeBron James, according to reports, kind of scoffed it off and never really took it seriously. Now, that second part of that makes a lot of sense to me. If you're going to be in LA, you're going to be a Laker. I don't see a universe where it would have made sense for LeBron James, and I do mean this, I don't see a universe where it would have made sense for LeBron James to make his last decision to go crosstown to Inglewood to play for the Clippers, mainly for the many things you've said, but the one that stands out, if the guy wants a ring, he's going to go to the Clippers? I think he made a better decision.
For sure. I mean, it's no like disrespect to the Clippers.
No.
I think Steve Ballmer's,
He's doing everything he can.
Yeah, as an owner, like you can't ask for a better. Like he's passionate, he's at the games, he's supportive.
He's under investigation. That's how much this guy wants to win, baby.
That's not part of this segment. But no, you don't. Yeah, it goes into the whole like city thing. Like you're not just going to stay in a city and then just go to another team because they offered a certain amount of money. Mm-hmm. Like it's about more than that. Like the legacy aspect of it for athletes that have accomplished at a certain level, that matters. Everything is intentional. It's not just like I'll just do this because. Mm-hmm. Like that was one of the things I genuinely first registered. Like I didn't know anything about Kobe before we were teammates. So there was no reason for me to understand his approach to things, his mindset around how he viewed becoming one of the greatest players to ever play basketball. I had never been around anybody that thought that way. Sure, like a lot of guys want to make the NBA, but you're signing a different check when you say, I want to be one of the greatest to ever play basketball. And so there is no every decision is geared to that. It's not about cities and fanfare and criticism from fans. Like they already signed up for that. They already know that's part of the job. It's all about when this is over and people look back on it, I want to be in the same conversation as this guy, and this guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's been accomplished. It was accomplished by Kobe for sure. LeBron's still playing, but there's no question. You can debate all you want to. When he's done, he's on the short list.
No question
And
about
so, no, he's not going to go across town just to say he stayed in L.A. The money part was never even. The money had nothing to do with this choice, in my opinion.
The guy made $6 million last season. So, I mean, I understand you saying, well, they offered him $20 million. That's so much money. LeBron James is a billionaire. Like, I feel like everyone, we have to have a come to Jesus moment. We all have to sit down and I have to explain what numbers are to all of you. And I've done this on this show before. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again so you can understand, because I do think it ripples effect on every other thing in sports. Like, for instance, salary caps that everyone wants to complain about, yada, yada, yada. The difference between $1 billion and $1 million is so ridiculous that it's mind-numbingly ridiculous. So just so we're all clear, LeBron James is a billionaire. So offering him $10 million more is actually the most laughable thing you could ever do to a billionaire. That is the equivalent of basically me getting paid $10 and you saying, listen, we can pay you $10.04. That is arguably what they just did. 1 million seconds is 11.7 days. 1 billion seconds is 31.7 years. Understand the difference between 1 million and 1 billion. LeBron is a billionaire. The money has nothing to do with his decision.
Yeah, zero. So I don't, I think some of the narratives around, what the Lakers should have done, or what he didn't want to take minimum from the Lakers. So, why didn't he stay and just take the minimum from the Lakers?
Seems like there might have been other things that were more important to him.
Which is what he kind of said from the beginning, and to be honest, has always said. I can't recall much sound from LeBron that wasn't about winning at all. I really don't. I don't care what team you're on, to go to the NBA Finals 10 times, winning matters. It just does. And so every decision, not some decisions, every decision kind of revolves around that. And so at this point in the journey, going to Philly presents the best window of opportunity to just get a chance to touch that trophy one more time before his career's up. I can't fault that mindset. I really can't.
Either.
Regardless of whether you agree with how, when, where, I can't get off track on anything else other than the guy just wants to win more championships. Mm-hmm. I'm good with that.
So am I. I'm honestly, he also left on pretty good terms. I mean, literally everything. I thought how LeBron handled this was fine. Now, would I have liked the decision to come a little sooner? Sure, but at this point, I'm splitting hairs. He made a decision. He took a veteran minimum, of which now people are trying to vilify him for taking the veteran minimum. If you're doing that, it just means you're doing everything you can to find something that you're just mad at LeBron about, because you're just mad at LeBron. And that's what the case is, then that's what the case is. But that seems like a you problem, not a LeBron problem.
For sure. It's part of living, in the space that, athletes and people that, again, have achieved at a certain level, that choose a certain lifestyle or profession, this just comes with it. And they understand it, better than anyone. And the other part about this choice that I like is that he can hear it all and feel the vitriol and the criticism and the thoughts of everybody. And still, that's one of the hardest things in life to do, is to still make choices in alignment with who you are, regardless of how it's going to make other people feel.
Yeah.
That's a difficult thing to do. And to do it in front of the entire world, I'm sure is even harder. And so I like the choice because of that process as well, or that thought. mindset.
And by the way, those of you that are wondering, why are you guys talking about LeBron? Why is this important? Why is this all important? Because LeBron's decision affected the league in every possible way already. It's going to affect the ratings. It's going to affect the TV schedule. It's honestly also going to affect how many national Laker games are there going to be? Because now those national Laker games, 2 or 3 of them might now become Philadelphia 76er games. So that does affect that as well. Not to mention on top of that, LeBron James's jersey has already outsold every other jersey in America. The new LeBron James jersey is the fastest selling jersey in America ever, outpacing even one jersey that was the record in 2023, and that would be Los Angeles Dodgers Shohei Ohtani jersey sales. He's already eclipsed it in like 3, 4, 5 days.
Yes, I mean, as many Lakers fans as there are also just as many or more Laker haters as well. So the fact that he has a new jersey that they can pick up, red, white, and blue goes with way more outfits than
it's very fashionable. Yeah.
Have you guys seen the memes on Instagram and whatnot of fans like, with their luggage and all, like, I'm moving to Philly. Just LeBron fans, like, just not even Laker fans, just LeBron. I'm moving to Philly, y'all. About to get a cheesesteak.
He's got sycophants. He definitely does.
He's got guys like that to just move the needle that follow him no matter where he goes. And I'm okay with that.
By the way, D-Fish makes a really good point. I only own one Laker jersey, by the way.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I only want to wear one when I go to Lakers.
Because they don't make them that big?
Yeah, I am quite jacked. It is quite kind of hard. I don't know how they ever fit into these tiny things.
You do. You are good.
That being said, dude, I gotta say, like, it's wild. Like, the reason why I don't have a ton of Laker jerseys is because of the colors. Yellow and purple does not go with a lot of outfits, dude.
Remember,
it's honest to God the reason why I only have one. I have one Magic Johnson jersey.
Yeah.
And I'm still having trouble finding a pair of shoes for him.
Yeah, see, I got a match too, and it's funny because earlier this week I was making fun of Fish a little bit because
but he was also rocking yellow and white shoes.
Yeah, the yellow and white
blue
shoes.
hat.
I was like, Fish, I don't like the color coordinate. What are we doing here?
I kind of liked it personally.
Of
course you did.
Gray on, which is a neutral color.
Very neutral.
And then a purple hat and white Air Force Ones with yellow or gold Nike swoosh.
Yeah, it was.
Like
It did not color coordinate. Stop. You ain't got to sit there and try and pretend like you.
I will admit the hat also has powdered blue and another shade of blue.
If you're Fisher's friends, you will tell him that he got dressed in the dark and those colors do not match. Come on now.
I thought you looked good.
Yeah, but I'm not 11. I don't have to try to coordinate match.
Dude, it's 5 a.m. He is leaving every morning at like 4:45.
You see my top, Fish? You see my top? Look at these nice hemp sneakers. These Adidas I only wear like once every 3 years.
Okay.
And they got to match, man. I got to coordinate the shoes with the.
Good. That's good for you.
I mean, not to be that guy, but I mean, I'm wearing red and blue today, and boom and boom.
Oh, I see you.
Daddy,
I like it.
Daddy
I like
came
it.
to play today.
Good for you guys that you like to match your T-shirt with your shoes. It's great.
You're the one that made the point how hard it is to match with yellow and purple, and I'm just agreeing with you.
I didn't start all of this conversation about not
Listen,
color
this is a fashion show, D-Fish. You know that. We gotta get J. Cole on this show so we can get a good sponsorship. I need some new polos, and all of you need new polos with our branded logo on it. Guys, we are going to take a quick little break, but coming up, listen, trade deadline absolutely looming. Huge things are going to happen. Ohtani's injury, how serious is that? Well, guess what? We got Russell Dorsey joining us live right here to talk about all of it. MLB Insider with Yahoo Sports and MLB Network. Can't wait to have Russ rejoin the show with D-Fish and Decker right here on the new 97.1 The Fan, the voice of LA Sports. Welcome back, D-Fish and Decker on the new 97.1 The Fan, the voice of LA sports. And it is that time. Get your phones out. Give us a call, 855-975-2326. We are giving away a pair of tickets to the Dion Cole Show and a $50 slot play voucher right now. Dion Cole is performing at the Yamava Theater August 8th. Tickets at yamava.com. It's your chance right now to give us a call on D-Fish and Decker on the new 97.1 The Fan, 855-975-2326. And Raj, which number caller do we want to go with today? We want to go with caller number 5. 5 is the answer. We're looking for caller number 5 for a pair of Dion Cole tickets right now and a $50 slot play voucher on August 8th. Tickets at yamava.com. All right, guys, D-Fish and Decker here on the new 97.1 The Fan, the voice of LA sports. And, guys, it is a trade deadline week. My goodness. And it was about a week ago, D-Fish, looking like it was going to be a very boring-ass trade deadline. Now, things are really heating up for that August 3rd date. Oh, baby. And who better to bring on than he's a guy you can check out on MLB Network. He does a great job on Apple's Friday night MLB games. You can check out his work as an MLB insider at Yahoo Sports. And you should just check him out in general because he is a very good-looking man in great shape, and he's very jacked. The one and only Russ Dorsey. What up, Russ? Welcome back to the show. How you doing, my guy? I can only imagine how busy your week is.
What an intro. What an intro, Dick. And also, shout out to Dion Cole, my guy, right? Chicago. I'm doing well. How you guys doing?
Dude, we're reeling right now because out here, dude, the wagons are circling. Everybody is going crazy right now around Tarek Skubal. What looked like was probably his last start in Detroit. Where do you think Tarek Skubal's market is really going? Is it the Dodgers, or is everybody going to band together and keep the Dodgers from getting them?
I think that is the thing that every fan in baseball want to know right now and are scared of. But that is the caveat. But here's the thing, guys. I think there are a lot of teams in Major League Baseball in that contending group that I expect to make a serious push at Tarek Skubal over the next 48 to 72 hours as we approach Monday's trade deadline. I'm talking about teams like the Tampa Bay Rays, the Milwaukee Brewers, the Philadelphia Phillies, the Chicago Cubs, the Atlanta Braves, if they want to. Those are teams that I look at and I say, okay, these teams are great fits for Tarek Skubal on the baseball side, but teams like the Brewers and the Rays have the prospect capital to challenge a team like the Dodgers when it comes to making the best move possible that could entice Detroit going with those teams instead. So I don't think it's some slam dunk that Tarek Skubal is going to end up on the Los Angeles Dodgers. I think the Brewers, the Rays, the Cubs, the Braves, and the Phillies are real challengers to them in this. It should be really fun to watch how the next couple of days shake out.
Russ, D-Fish here, man. Appreciate you hopping on with us this morning and spending some time with us, man. Are you in the shot right now? That's home.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Nice.
Yeah, that's home. Born and raised.
All right. How do you see like the looming CBA discussions coming up this offseason impacting this trade deadline? Like in other sports, sometimes you see, the CBA approaching impacts how teams and organizations are choosing to make decisions or choosing the layout of it because they kind of have a sense of what's ahead.
No, you get it, Fish, because, being a part of, the NBPA and everything you dealt with in your career, like you know that side of it as well. I think in terms of Major League Baseball and the trade deadline specifically, you have a lot of teams that are looking at it and saying, okay, we don't know what's coming up long term. So we have to think very, very short term. And so I think from some of these contenders like the Dodgers, Milwaukee, the Phillies, the Chicago Cubs, it's like, okay, what do we do to make sure we have the best roster for the next 2 months to try to win a World Series? Because, you don't know what the future is going to be. You don't know what the salary situation, payroll situations are going to be. Honestly, we don't even know how much baseball we're going to have in 2027. So I think that is in the back of people's minds. And as you try to figure out what your short and long-term future is, with your organization and the things that you want to gamble on right now versus saying, let's kind of hold off and kind of see how things play out. I do think that is part of it. I think for teams like the Dodgers and a lot of these contending teams that are like, hey, we're just trying to win the World Series, right? That's our focus right now. And then everything that happens when the CBA expires on December 1st, We'll figure that part out when we get there. But the next 2.5, 3 months are of the utmost importance.
MLB insider Russ Dorsey joining us. Check out his work, of course, on Yahoo Sports and MLB Network. And Russ, there's a lot of teams that are out there right now that kind of been on the fence of whether or not they're going to be buyers or sellers because, one, the American League, you can drop a pin and you can make an argument that they can somehow make the playoffs considering the fact that everybody is like 5 games under 500. What are some of the teams in your eyes that are going to determine whether or not they're sellers? It seems like the Giants might be sellers, but there's a team that I'm looking at that has one particular arm, and that's the Miami Marlins with Sandy Alcantara. Is he going to be moved? What are the Marlins going to do? And if so, if he gets moved, how big is his market?
Yeah, I wrote about that earlier this week for Yahoo, as well as a couple of other teams. But for the Marlins specifically, earlier in the week, they were coming off of a franchise record 12-game losing streak. And this was a team that played like one of the best teams in the National League in the first half, came out of the All-Star break, and just ran into a buzzsaw of a 2-week stretch. And everybody's thinking, okay, Marlins are selling. And talked to a couple of people, in Miami, and that's not necessarily how they're looking at it. I think for the Marlins, they viewed it as, okay, just how we got unlucky and lost 12 games in a row, we're the same team that went 20-6 in the month of June and was the best team in Major League Baseball. So I don't think they feel like they're as bad as that stretch showed. And maybe they were played a little bit over their heads in the month of June. So where they actually are somewhere in the middle. Do I see them at least taking calls on some of their players? Yeah, I think they're going to take calls on some of those bullpen guys they have. Anthony Bender, one of the best relievers in baseball. Pete Fairbanks, who's not having a great season, but this time of year, experience, guys who can close games for you is still valuable. Also going to be a free agent at the end of the year. And they have some young, controllable players in terms of, the starting pitchers with Yuri Perez, Max Meyer. They're not going to be listening on those guys. I don't see those guys getting moved at all. They've been getting calls on Xavier Everett, their second baseman, Otto Lopez having a breakout season, an all-star at shortstop for Miami. They've gotten calls on those guys. It would take a lot to pry those guys away from Miami, but I guess they see it as that's their core for the future. I think it would take a lot for them to move those guys. I will say in a market where there is no real impact shortstops, a guy like Otto Lopez is really valuable on this market. And to answer your question about Sandy Alcantara, do I think the Marlins would entertain moving him? Sure, right? It's a guy that his contract is going to be expiring soon, makes the most money on that team, also leads all of Major League Baseball in innings. You know what you're going to get out of him. And it seems like one of those things that we've been expecting for years now, Sandy to get traded out of Miami. Do I think it happens? Maybe. I don't think they're pressed at all to move Sandy, as opposed to some of these other teams that are in full sell mode.
Russ, if you're sitting in the Dodgers war room as this trade deadline approaches, how are you viewing, the health of, Ohtani, Snell, Glasnow, and the need for short-term pitching, but also, with Eric Lauer's performance, Justin Robleski's performance, who's in and who's out? If you add more pitching, somebody might be out. And between Lauer, Robleski, and Sheehan, if somebody's on the way out, how are you viewing that pitching room as this deadline approaches?
It's a good question, Fish. And I think when you look at what the Dodgers started the year at, in terms of you look on paper, you're like, oh, man, they got about 6, 7, 8 guys that can be in anybody's rotation right now. But the way they build their roster, they know that, all right, at least 3 of these dudes are going to be hurt by August 1st. And can we have enough depth in our rotation, in our farm system, where we can just make it to October 1st? They feel like if they can make it to October 1st and they're, let's say, 80% healthy, they're better than the other 29 teams in Major League Baseball. And here we are about to be in August, and what's happening? You have Shohei Ohtani, whose knee is a little bit more of a concern than they initially thought. Tyler Glasnow, Blake Snell, 2 guys that are working their way back off the IL. But you have a guy like Justin Robleski having an all-star season that helps you fill some of those gaps. Do I think they're if you're Andrew Friedman right now, you're big game hunting. You're saying, okay, people hate us anyway. Let's make a run at Tarek Scoop.
Yep.
I fully expect that to happen. I don't think they're shying away from that at all. When there's a premier talent in Major League Baseball, expect the Dodgers to be going after that guy. But do I think there are other players, other pitchers right now that could help the Dodgers outside of Tarek Skubal? I do. I think another team has to outbid them for them not to get Tarek Skubal. That's how I'm looking at it right now. And I think there are two teams in the Rays and the Brewers that we talked about a little bit earlier that have the prospect capital to really challenge them in this, where it's not just a foregone conclusion that he's going to end up on the Dodgers. But if they don't get Skubal, is there a world where a guy like Clay Holmes ends up in LA? I could see that. A Foster Griffin, Robbie Ray. I think there are a lot of guys that help the Dodgers situation that aren't named Tarek Skubal.
Completely agree. And by the way, we got Russ Dorsey joining us right here on D Fish and Decker on the new 97.1 The Fan. Check out Russ's work on MLB Network, Apple TV Plus, and of course his writing over there with Yahoo Sports. And kind of getting away from the trade deadline real quick, just want to bring it back over to Shohei Ohtani. The knee injury, the draining of the knee. Now, last couple of nights, great at-bats from Shohei Ohtani. 5 hits in the last 2 nights, including a home run and a couple of doubles. But now the bicep issue has now come out to fruition from his last bullpen session, and now they haven't given us a date, but indefinitely postponed his next bullpen session. What do you think the Dodgers are thinking as far as a trade deadline and just the handling of Ohtani himself?
Yeah, it's one of those things where you obviously handle Shohei with a different type of care than you handle other guys with. And if that means pulling him back from starting even as good as he was in the first half, that's what you need to do. When you get to the point where you're getting your knee drained, and that's not even something we talk about in baseball a lot. That's more something Fish and those guys in the NBA are talking about, getting your knee drained with fluid. But when you talk about a guy getting his knee drained, that is something that is serious, right? That's something where you're like, okay, let's pump the brakes and take it a little bit easy here for a guy that does all these different things well. But I look at it as maybe a blessing in disguise for Shohei and the Dodgers, because I think Shohei as a hitter is more important than Shohei as a pitcher. I think that's always been true, and the impact that he makes in the lineup. It's a luxury to have a guy that is a frontline type of starter on the mound, but with the impact that he can make at the plate, I think that is of utmost importance, especially with the way the Dodgers line up this year. There have been highs, there have been lows, there have been highs, and there have been lows. I think if you get Shohei to be 5% better because he doesn't have to focus on pitching every 5th day, I think that makes the world of difference for this Dodgers lineup.
Yeah, appreciate that breakdown on Ohtani, man. I think one of the things we talked about here in LA as well is how valuable the non-superstar guys have been. And in basketball, there's we call them glue guys. I don't in baseball there's more guys, so I don't know if you call them
clubhouse guys.
Yeah, clubhouse guys. But the Andy Pajes, the Miguel Rojas,
Yeah.
But Dalton Rushing specifically, a guy that just kind of got thrusted into high levels of responsibility with Will Smith's injury to the neck. What is the perception of Dalton Rushing outside of LA? There's a love-hate relationship that has developed with Rushing, but offensively he's been doing his thing, and it seems like he's growing as a catcher as well. But how have you viewed this season for him?
Yeah, it has been an interesting season for Dalton Rushing. As far as perception around the game, there's a little bit of that villain energy, you know what I mean? And I don't always think that is a bad thing. Like, Fish, you play with Cole. Cole had no problem being a villain at times, and I think that's what makes sports fun, right? Like, you have guys that people 100% love them, and then you have guys that people don't love, and I think that's what makes the game fun. I think for Dalton Rushing, he was a guy that's been a top prospect in baseball for a long time, and playing behind arguably the best catcher in Major League Baseball in Will Smith. Don't really get many opportunities, but that injury pops up and you are thrust into that starting role. And I think there have been some bumps in the road for him that I do think he will learn from, right? Whether it's the miscommunication between, Shohei and him on the mound, maybe some of those challenges, trying to, control a staff behind the plate, and also put your best foot forward, in the box, in the lineup on a nightly basis. And so I think, having him be able to be competent and get through this stretch until they get Will Smith back, I think that's a really important part of this Dodger season, because Will Smith is as good as it gets behind the plate and defensively. And so to make it through a stretch this long without him, I think the Dodgers have Dalton Rushing to thank for that.
Absolutely huge. Russ Dorsey joining us. And one quick one before we let you go, Russ, and we can't thank you enough. We know this is the most busy week you could possibly be having, so thank you for giving us all your time. Outside of the Dodgers, because we know in L.A., all eyes on the Dodgers, and seemingly outside of L.A., all eyes on the Dodgers. Who do you think is going to make the biggest impact in this trade deadline?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm looking at Milwaukee, and I look at the Milwaukee Brewers because I think that they can do something, and especially talking about Tarek Skubal, but other additions that other teams might not necessarily be able to do because of their prospect capital and prospect depth. Like, imagine them being able to pair in a postseason series Tarek Skubal and Jacob Mizorowski. Oh, and by the way, Kyle Harrison, who's having a breakout season, like in a 5-game series, shut it down, man. Grand opening, grand closing. I think that's something that I know that they are interested. It's now at a point where it's like, okay, how do we want to improve? Because, it's been almost 20 years since they added CC Sabathia in 2008, and he went on that crazy run. Can we get CC 2.0 if you bring in Tarek Skubal, and now you go into the next 2 months of the season after playing the Dodgers in the NLCS, where it's like, okay, we were just outgunned. You can go into a postseason series if you had Tarek Skubal and Jacob Mizorowski and say, okay, we can do the outgunning now.
Dude, what a terrifying prospect that would be if they pulled it off. I'm not going to lie to you, even just as a baseball fan, kind of want to see it, dude. That'd be awesome.
It sounds sick, right?
That'd be an unbelievable series in October if we got that. So, Russ Dorsey, check out everything he's doing, of course, over there at Yahoo Sports, Apple TV Plus, Friday night games. You've been holding down the fort there for years and crushing that and everything you're doing at MLB Network. Russ, thank you so much for joining D-Fish and I, man. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Anytime. Appreciate you.
The one and only Russell Dorsey. Check him out anywhere you can. But yeah, he's not wrong. I mentioned the other day I'd like to see the Phillies go get him. But now, based on what happened yesterday with that weird-ass press conference with Donnie Baseball, and yes, we will get to that later on in the show, screw the Phillies. No, you don't deserve them now. The Milwaukee Brewers were the team that got swept by the Dodgers to go to the World Series. And Russ is right, dude. They were outgunned. They were outmanned. And full transparency, I immediately sent a text message to Dave Roberts saying, thank you so much for sweeping Pat Murphy. That made me so happy. Just in my heart and my loins. But that being said, Miz and then Tarek Skubal is a horrifying 1-2 punch in October.
It is. And when you have Jacob Mizorowski, like, your responsibility also then becomes surrounding him and adding, talent to that group where they can win in the postseason. We talk about it in other sports all the time. I don't know if it's as loud in baseball when, like, teams year in and year out, get eliminated in the wild card or they get eliminated in the DS, and the Brewers are one of those teams that, like, normally top record in baseball, but can't quite get over that hump in the postseason. And so this could be the year they swing for it and go.
I know we don't see it like this here in L.A. because everybody here is always goo-goo-eyed about the Dodgers, but there is a villain factor about the Dodgers. Now, it's a good thing. It's a double-edged sword kind of thing because you've obviously experienced as a Laker. The Dodgers are a traveling circus at this point. Everywhere they go, people show up to the stadium. You can go to Miami, and people in Miami will show up to that stadium. No matter whether or not that team is good or bad, they're going to go there to see the Dodgers because the Dodgers are just must-watch television, especially in the realm of baseball. But that doesn't mean people like them. It means people just want to see them because they are the best show on the grass right now. Everybody really wants to beat the Dodgers at this point. Like, really very much. So much so that the Brewers are probably being looked at by a lot of people in the country. Remember how we all felt about the Yankees in the early 2000s? How they just couldn't get by? How we were everybody in the country became a Red Sox fan overnight, every October. Red Sox got to slay them. Red Sox got to do them. I'm starting to worry that people are looking at the Milwaukee Brewers the exact same way.
Yeah, two things. I think that narrative of you have to spend money to win could go out the window if the Brewers add Scooble.
Yes, it would.
Their payroll is nowhere near what the Dodgers' payroll is.
It'd be really bad for the MLB owners, wouldn't it?
So that's first. The second part is the Brewers not having to live at such high salary numbers could also be intriguing to them, meaning the rental of Kawhi Leonard in 2019 by the Toronto Raptors that led to their one NBA championship, but then you don't have to jump on the hook for the long-term deal at $300, $400 million.
Which the Brewers clearly don't ever do.
And so the Brewers could go all in on the rental that allows them to get over the hump, and then Scooble goes somewhere else in free agency.
Dude, the comparison that Russ Dorsey just made to the CC Sabathia 2008 move, exact same thing. CC joined that team, became Super CC, and nearly took that team to the World Series on his back. And sadly, he didn't. But Tarek Scooble could do the very same thing for the Milwaukee Brewers. And yes, the Dodgers are aware of that. So this is going to be a very interesting 4 days leading into the trade deadline, guys. But coming up here on D. Fish and Decker, listen, we got lots more to talk about because Puka Nacua had lots to talk about yesterday. But here's the question. We're going to play you the clip. We're going to hear it. We're going to dissect the words. Do you believe a word of it? We will discuss right here on D. Fish and Decker on the new 97.1 The Fan, the voice of LA sports. Welcome back. D-Fish and Decker here on the new 97.1 The Fan, the voice of LA Sports. And Aaron being a tyrant back there. He just kicked Andrew out of the room. We're talking about the new Spider-Man movie that I'm seeing today, and we have to get back to talking about LA sports. Fine, Aaron, we'll get back to talking about LA sports like you want. God.
Thank you, guys. Sorry about that.
I just wanted to talk about Spider-Man, brand new day. We'll get to it later, I guess. Here's the deal, man. Puka Nacua finally had his day in court. And by that, I mean, really, he just talked to press yesterday over there at Rams camp. And listen, let's start by talking about the guy, the player that is Puka Nacua. Player? You can make an argument, a legitimate, if you're just looking at stats on the paper. Most yak yards in the NFL last year, up there with catches, you name it, he did it. He is one or two best receiver in the NFL. Now, in the ESPN Anonymous poll, though, by all the coaches, the staffs, the scouts poll that came out, he actually came out as fourth, which I said on the air, and I think you did agree with me a little bit, but you might not have, and if you didn't, let me know. I said, fourth for Puka, based on the numbers, that makes no sense. That just means every one of these scouts and all of them paid a lot of attention to the off-field antics that took place last offseason, and that gave everybody a little bit of pause. Because I'll tell you this, I did not have any pause about Puka Nacua going into last season. By the middle of last season, I started asking some questions because things were going a little haywire. There was the weird video he did with the little influencer who, let's just put it this way, as a Jewish guy, he doesn't like me. Let's put it that way. And then, of course, the dance thing that Puka didn't do, thank God. But then there was the public intoxication issues. There's the looming lawsuit that is currently happening with the bite mark incident that happened on New Year's Eve. There was the endless parade, and maybe there was an LA thing aspect to this, and maybe there was also a very big press aspect to this. So I'll give Puka a little bit of grace on this one, but every other day we're seeing endless reports of Puka out there with another Hollywood starlet, and then there was more public drunkenness. And then it all led to a rehab assignment. And no, not an injury rehab assignment. I mean a legitimate going up to Malibu to a rehab center to get himself clean. Now, all of that taking place, and I often question the validity of the rehab thing. I want to believe in it, but I'm a little cynical these days when it comes to certain aspects of this. I know how many champagne rooms and boiler rooms are over there at the CAAs and the WMEs and all of those places that want to recreate a player's image. However, I want to give this guy some grace and give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. He deserves an opportunity to prove who he is. So here's Puka Nacua yesterday answering the question about his offseason and basically throwing himself to the wolves. We'll see.
I feel very confident about that. I think continuing some of the things that I was able to establish into my routine, trusting and in closing, I think my circle of trust and allowing the people that I feel like have the inside parts of my life to continue to communicate and trust the people I think who are around me. And I owe a great thank you to my support system, but especially like my family through this time. There have been things that obviously have happened this offseason that haven't been the truest reflection of the person I feel like I am and how my mother raised me. And there's definitely been conversations with her to apologize, but also for her to say that she supports me. And also my brothers are I think my biggest critics as well. So I'm like there were some intense conversations, but loving conversations in order to see improvement.
D-Fish, I will say, he said everything right. And there is one thing in particular that did hit me in a spot. Now, I don't believe all of this. I want to make that abundantly clear.
You don't believe all of what
I
you
don't
just said?
believe all of it. I don't believe all of it. We'll get into it.
Why not?
Because I don't.
Okay.
I mentioned cynical. I have grown very cynical when it comes to these situations. That being said, I am 100% going to give him grace and a second chance and root for him this season and hope that he lives up to everything he just said. I want to make that abundantly clear. The one thing he said that I do makes me inclined to believe him. He brought up his mom. Now, as a guy like myself, my mom has legitimately always been my harshest critic, my best friend, and my biggest mentor. She was a cutthroat businesswoman. I respect her more than just about anybody in the world, and I trust her more than just about anybody in the world. So hearing him talk about how my mom raised me, you had to have harsh conversations with her. Listen, I believe that. And then the brother comment as well. My brothers had to have some uncomfortable conversations with me. Listen, I hear those words, and I will say those two statements in this whole overarching statement absolutely registered with me to where I'm like, yeah, dude, you get your second shot. Let's see if you can put it together. Let's see if you can keep it together mentally and get you the bag. Because 2 months ago, I was looking at you like you were Antonio Brown 2.0. And I'm not saying that as a joke. I was saying that with concern because I was legitimately concerned about what Puka Nacua, the road he was going down. However, a lot of that was really well rehearsed. I mean, that was he rattled off those points really, really fast. I want to believe him. I'm not sure I do yet.
That's fair. It's fair not to feel like, he's already in full alignment with everything he said, and there won't be any moments where, even he regresses internally. But I think, like whether it's Antonio Brown or like some of us as people, like there's almost like a speaking of yourself in the third person type energy that is more present in certain guys that can't quite turn that corner and like what he just said be real because they really do see themselves in the third person. Some of the things you referred to that he's been a part of, I'm aware of a little bit. I wasn't necessarily on top of it in real time, but
is there anything you want me to clarify in the timeline? Because I do know a good amount of it.
I would help me understand if he's one of those third person type guys. Is it kind of like, yeah, man, Puka, did it like?
So as of now, no, he has not been the guy that refers to himself as Puka. I had him on my show about a year and a half ago, and I will say the 15-minute conversation, he seemed like a very lovely young guy, kind of a humble young guy. But it was also after his first season, breakout season, now this last year, Puka Nacua is like a superstar. So during the superstar run of Puka Nacua last year, a lot of outside forces started kind of angling their way in. You got like these influencers and bad actors who are, trying to get him to do like an anti-Semitic dance on the sideline after a touchdown, of which he said on a stream, yeah, I'm going to do that. And then he got several talkings to and made it abundantly clear he wasn't going to do that. And then there was just a bunch of other antics as well. But then the offseason hit, and that's when things really hit the fan.
Okay, so he's 25 years old.
Young cat. Out of what, BYU? So yeah, listen, going from BYU to LA is a jump.
In particular, if you don't keep your circle small.
Yes.
And he referenced that in the sound, kind of learning the hard way that everybody's not your friend. Everybody's not there for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And the right reasons to other people could be having a good time. He provides access for people that normally they don't have.
We can go to the club with Puka. Can't get in the club by myself.
And so you just have to, make those choices about why you do this. And it sounds like, he's gotten back in touch with, why you play football, why it's important to make the choices and the sacrifices that you have to make in order to be the type of player that you want to be. And if you want the organization to invest in you and trust in you, there's a certain way you have to move and carry yourself. Sometimes that's harder, though, when you're like, there are other guys in the league that didn't make the news the way he made over the last year or so that do a lot of the same things.
Very true.
That also get paid. And sometimes that can be confusing for young players. Because sometimes it's like you're looking at veterans or guys that have certain level of experience, and you're trying to pick up on how they move, the things they do. Like I learned from Shaq, keeping your circle really small. Like Shaq's guys were the same guys.
It wasn't an entourage.
It wasn't an entourage.
Huge.
It was the same guys, same family, same friends, guys that were like really there for him for the right reasons.
I love that.
So in watching Shaq that's how I learned, this guy is going to be my guy forever. It's not going to be a new guy every 6 months that just, is a yes man and just popped up out of nowhere and wants to kind of roll with me everywhere I go. And so for Puka, I think he's probably had to go through that experience, a little bit since he's been in LA, and getting back in touch with, not in touch with, but like aligning your energy and your relationship with your mom, with your brother, keeping your circle tight. That's a really important piece. But the Rams still have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
You still have to go out and perform well on the football field.
Got to show us, man.
And they can't have any feeling that once they bag you up and guarantee all the money that you're going to regress and go back the other way. So he's put himself in a position where he has to prove and show that both things can be true, that he can be a great football player on the field and he can be a guy that the team can trust off the field. And there's no question that the money's coming for him.
Yeah, man, because if not, they're going to have to throw in some good behavior clauses in that contract, and I don't think anybody wants good behavior clauses.
His agent won't let that happen either.
He better not let that happen. All right, guys, lots more to discuss as the show goes on, but listen, Rich Paul, he came out and reveals just how many teams were actually in on LeBron. Will the answer surprise you? Find out when we do our famous award-winning bit, You in or you out, right here on D. Fish and Decker on the new 97.1 The Fan, the voice of LA sports.
Brought to you by Yamava Resort and Casino at San Manuel.
That's right. Let's bring in our hype man Rod for our award-winning segment brought to you by Yamava.
That's right. Are you in or are you out? My guys here, listen, LeBron James' agent, Rich Paul, we've mentioned him a lot over the last
oh, man, he's so
couple months.
He's so quiet. Has he finally said something?
He says a lot. He's got a lot to say, and good for him. He has a platform to do it. But he said he had a conversation with 27 out of 30 teams. That's about 91% in my book about signing the future Hall of Famer LeBron James. You in or you out on 27 out of 30 teams being that were in on LeBron James, Fish?
I don't know about on LeBron. But
just conversations, you say?
Yeah, I would say conversations. I'm in on that, yes.
Right.
You have to, that's his job to find out what's possible, what the market is, who's open to the idea, who isn't. So, yeah, I think he talked to 27 teams, but 27 teams could not have been in on it.
Okay. Right. I'm saying it's the Jazz. I'm saying it's the Grizzlies. And there's no way the Sacramento Kings called either. Like, those are the three teams, right, that they didn't kick the tires on?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I don't think he's specifically saying who called who.
Fair.
Apparently the Knicks were not interested.
Right. That was reported.
But there was at least a conversation, but interesting. I'm in on it. I believe it. Listen, if you didn't kick the tires, at least have a conversation about LeBron James. You're crazy.
Yeah, you take the call.
No question.
Because he also represents some other high-level players. You got to take the call if he calls.
Yeah, or else Shams is going to say something bad about you, completely unrelated to Rich Paul.
All right.
Obviously.
Hey guys, there's a man in Connecticut who says he's no longer a skeptic. That's right, Cody. He was like you, did not believe in Bigfoot. But here's what he said. He said he encountered an 8 feet tall creature that he does believe was indeed Bigfoot.
It was called a bear.
Nope. He said it was. Here's why you're wrong, Cody. Here's why you need to hush and listen.
I'm listening.
Okay. He said it was 8 to 8.5 feet tall, and the creature was swiftly crossing the road. He had to put on his brain. He's like, whoa. He said it had coarse, matted, and greasy-looking long brown hair, and covering every part of its body that he could see. And he says its legs were shorter than the torso, and its arms literally hung down right down to the knee height. You know what I'm saying? That lets you know right there what it is. You know what I'm saying? And so you in or you out on this Connecticut man finally no longer being a skeptic? Are you in and out or out on Bigfoot, Fish?
I mean, it sounds like the woman you guys keep describing that was at the bar.
You stop, leave that person alone.
She was beautiful. She was 8 feet tall.
I didn't say this creature wasn't beautiful.
Fair point.
All right.
You're right. I did put those words in his mouth. That is on me.
You in or out?
I don't know. I'm out, man. I'm out.
Okay.
I'm not. It's not that I don't believe there might be a, but no, I'm out.
What state was this in again?
Connecticut.
Okay, so
There's a lot of room to roam up there.
there is a lot of room to roam and a lot of bars and not much to do other than drinking. So one, probably drunk, and two, he described a gorilla. He saw a gorilla. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm out.
Oh, man, you guys. All right. I try, Fix. I try and get to the bottom of it. Hey, guys, we talked a little about this earlier, but Phillies manager Don Mattingly didn't appreciate Bryce Harper's comment about the team needing some help. He admitted that to the meeting. I love Bryce Harper. He's always outspoken. But, Fish, are you in or are you out on Bryce Harper saying openly, hey, we need some help, y'all?
I mean, I'm out in general on that. As a player, I don't think regardless of who's in the locker room, you don't want to come out and say we need some help as though like the guys next to you aren't good enough and that you're not good enough. But I think when you're Bryce Harper, like a guy that is as accomplished as him, sometimes there's chess being played at higher levels, and he may really, he has bigger goals in mind around whether the Phillies are serious about winning baseball games. And so I get maybe why he would say it, but I'm out on that mindset. I wouldn't come out and say we don't have enough in the dugout or club.
Okay.
So that's just me.
So after hearing, I watched the video, and listen, I think Bryce handled it actually quite well. He thinks we do need some help, and I actually firmly agree that they do need some help over there in Philly.
I think you can agree with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's what I'm out on. It's not what Bryce said. I'm way more out on what Don Mattingly said.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, Don Mattingly is the interim manager. He's the interim manager of this team, and he immediately just kind of crapped all over what his players said and backed the office front line. And why I have a particular problem with that is he's the interim manager and his son is the general manager. And he also referred to it as like, man, he's out here playing GM, spending other people's money. Dude, you're the manager of the team. This is not a type of comment you should be. If that's my manager, really holding the party line for the front office while we're getting ready to go into a CBA, and you're using the thing, well, you're trying to spend the organization's money, dude. I got a problem with that.
Yeah, but this is why nobody should say anything about any of it. Mm-hmm. Like Bryce Harper should just say, hey, we got enough here. We just got to keep playing baseball. We got to catch better. We got to hit better, et cetera, et cetera. Even if internally he feels exactly what he said. And then Don Mattingly, as a manager, you don't say that publicly.
I kind of think that he's trying to light a fire under the Phillies to actually do something.
No, that's fine, but walk in the office and tell him that. Like, to me, you just get in trouble anytime you try to do all of this publicly. Like, go have the conversation with the manager, with the GM. You're Bryce Harper. Mm-hmm. Go tell him.
I have to assume that they have, because they do have a lot of dialogue.
But that's
together.
what I'm saying. That's why I think his move may be for a higher purpose, because this is the only way he can get the message across now.
Well, wouldn't you think that's a problem with the organization? If that's the only way he can get the message across, the Phillies got bigger problems than that.
Might be the case. And so, but I think Mattingly is more upset that, especially for him as a former player and a World Series winning type player, you don't want somebody saying we're not good enough.
Fair enough. By the way, You In or You Out is brought to you by Yamava. Oh, baby. Gladys Knight is playing on Monday, August 3rd, with tickets going on sale.
Did you hear that through the grapevine?
I did hear it through the grapevine. I heard it when I was taking my midnight train down to Georgia.
Oh, my God.
Oh, love me some Gladys Knight.
What night?
Dude, what night? Oh, that would be... It goes on sale at 10 a.m. at Yamava.com that day on August 3rd. Absolutely, dude. I might have to go see me some Gladys Knight. One of my favorite Bond themes.
Absolutely. Good stuff there, guys. Hey, guys, switching to college football, which we will have to be talking about soon here. The historic Notre Dame and USC football game, the rivalry that we all love, is going on hiatus starting this year. Are you in or are you out on not having this rivalry anymore, Fish?
Which one?
USC and Notre Dame.
Oh, you said that?
Yeah, I did say that.
Oh, okay, I wasn't listening.
At least you admit it. I'm fine with that.
Cody was saying boo so loud I couldn't even.
Yeah. Wait your turn, Cody.
I'm out because I feel like for Notre Dame, this used to be, with them being an independent team and not having a conference.
Preach.
This was one of the ways that they would solidify that they belonged in that national championship conversation. Mm-hmm. Now, USC has been down, so I do understand Notre Dame may not feel like, they feel like they're probably paying the bills with this because they have the NBC partnership.
Yeah.
They're the bigger brand at this point. So for them, I think they're kind of like, we're good. Like, you guys are winning off us at this point.
Yeah.
Notre Dame is worth their football team. They just announced is worth $2.1 billion. That program, and this is one of the very few true rivalry games that was appointment watching. I hate the USC Trojans. Yeah. I watched this match every single year.
I don't watch college football, and I watch this match.
I'm legitimately kind of pissed off by it. And I'm also pissed off by Lincoln Riley kind of defending it. Lincoln, this sucks.
Yeah.
You know this sucks. Just say it sucks.
That's okay. I love it there. Hey, guys, staying in college football, Northwestern will not allow its students to sit down during college football games. Not even if it's a blowout, Derek Fisher. You got to stand your butt up. You in or you out on standing for an entire game in the student section?
Okay. I mean, so that's kind of like the wall at Intuit Dome at the Clippers joint.
Yeah, or 3252 at LAFC.
Yeah.
So, shouts out to you, my soccer peeps.
I get it. My question is so now are you paying staff to walk around and just make sure students are sitting down?
Yeah, what happens if you don't?
Give out a hall pass.
What are you going to get fined or what?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know, man. I think this should be more of an organic thing. Like to me, LAFC fans create that environment because it's a choice that they want to create that for the team.
It's like the tarps off thing. They're doing it.
You're trying to legislate it like you're going to send security if somebody's sitting down. It's hot outside, and I just want to sit down for a minute and drink some water. Come on, man.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm okay with them doing it, but like you said, if it's an organic thing, 100% in. But legislating people needing to stand up the whole... Yeah, dude, I'm way out on that. I just know what section I ain't sitting in.
Yeah, I heard that. Get out of there. Hey, Joe Burrow, getting back to NFL camps, he loved watching Jamar Chase fight a teammate despite a recent suspension for poor conduct. Fish, you in or out on fights like in camp? Do you think that, does it bring a team together? Do you like the feistiness? What do you think about teammates fighting during camp?
Oh, I mean, there's definitely some... you need some edginess in terms of competitiveness at practice. Some of the best teams that I've been on, we went at each other at practice.
Who'd you
hard.
fight? Who'd you fight?
In practice, I didn't have to fight anybody.
Spill the beans. Tell us,
man.
man.
That left hook connected with somebody.
No, in practice, no. But I wasn't not competing hard though. Somebody might have wanted to fight me, but there was no need to fight. I'm just gonna win the game.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do. I'm in on fighting for winning. That's fighting just to fight. No, but if
what about Draymond Green's type? Just walk by and steal on you. Pow!
Nah, not that.
I didn't like that the hands were down. That's never sat well with me. That being said, I'm okay with it sometimes, so I'm in because occasionally, families fight, and sometimes families can come out the other end after a fight a little better. And I've been a part of certain baseball teams where physical fistfights have broken out.
Matt Kemp? Didn't you almost fight Matt Kemp?
No, I never almost fought Matt Kemp. I actually...
Look at Raj trying to...
What are you trying to do? If he wanted to, I guess sure, but I never saw any reason to fight Matt Kemp.
You think you can square up on him?
He's a really tall guy with some big reach.
Yeah, he got some reach.
But I don't know. I think it'd be a good fight. But at the end of the day... I've seen teams come out of it better on the other end, but I've also seen the flip side. It's a case-by-case business, and what I don't like is when it gets out. That's the thing. If we find out about the fight, something bad happens.
Yeah, that's exactly the point on that. And I think even with the Draymond Green one, sometimes, especially young guys, they're just slick with stuff that they say. And it's not that you want to just, take off on them like that, but... it's too much disrespect.
Yep, absolutely. Well, guys, we got so much to discuss here on the show. Luka, the leader, we will find out. D. Fish and Decker on the new 97.1 The Fan, the voice of LA Sports. Welcome back, D-Fish and Decker, live here on the new 97.1 The Fan, the voice of LA Sports, the legendary one and only Derek Fisher, myself, Cody Decker, and of course in the back, we got Raj, we got Aaron, we got Crash, and you can check us out live right now on YouTube at The Fan LA. Join the conversation, and yes, the chat has been live all show long. We see you, Wayne, we see you, Joanna, we see you, David Horse, all you guys joining the chat, and we thank you very much for doing so. We've talked a lot about the Los Angeles Dodgers, and of course the looming trade deadline that is coming up, and we will continue that. And by the way, if you missed earlier on in the show, we had the great Russ Dorsey, MLB Insider, and of course you can check him out on Apple TV Plus Friday Night Baseball. On top of that, MLB Network and all of his written work over there at Yahoo Sports. If you missed that interview, you can go back on the Odyssey app and check it out. We talked a lot about Tarek Skubal and his market, not to mention the Dodgers market, which is very interesting. The Dodgers find themselves in so many interesting spots right now because we've heard Dave Roberts refer to them as sellers, even though we all are well aware they are buyers at the deadline, but they do find themselves in a position they do need to sell off more than that they're going to buy back because they just have too many damn bodies. And it's an amazing place for the Dodgers to be, but we will keep you updated on all of that as time goes forward. Of course, we'll be talking a little bit more about the Dodgers later on in the show. But right now, we are talking about them Lakers. And actually, let me change that. D-Fish, we are now talking about them Luka Lakers. The Luka era has officially begun. We are in the era of Luka Doncic being the face, the head, the fixture of this organization, seemingly, from if you believe reports, years and years and years to come. But now we had the question, and we've asked other people that have come on the show, D-Fish, because I'm actually interested, and I would love your take on this just to begin with before we get into the actual story and crux of it all. Is Luka, is his temperament, personality, we know he's the best on the court, well aware, but we know that best doesn't always mean the best leader. What kind of leader can Luka Doncic be based on the history that we've already seen of Luka? Is he the leader of this team, or is he just the best player on this team?
I mean, we don't know enough, to kind of have a strong feel for what kind of leader he is or has been. He led a team to the NBA Finals when he was in Dallas, but